What are your formats?
Hey everybody, this is Dimensions of the Supernatural. I'm Maureen Grudzinski, and this is my great co-host, Anthony Simonelli, otherwise known as
Forget about it. How you doing tonight?
Mr. Forget About It. Tonight we are with amazing guests, which they are going to come in around 8 o'clock. They are Mr. and Mrs. Hultay,
Okay.
Katie and Steve. So for the next about half hour, you're going to have to put up with just us.
Oh no.
Right.
Okay. I got a new background. Hey, I'm disappearing in it.
So where are you?
This background is actually a place I investigated a while back. It's in Kings Park. It's Kings County Asylum, also Kings County Psychiatric um, Hospital, which was later on. And it was built in 1885, and they closed it in 1996 for guess what? Abuse. You know, where they abuse a lot of people. So it's a bunch of big different buildings that are on the in that location, and these buildings are pretty much nailed shut. You're not supposed to go in them, but as you see, I got something. I've been in it. So this is was a weird place. Yeah, I was telling Maureen before this, as I was walking down this hallway, those doors that you see that are open there, they were closed. As I went down, I just turned and they were open. That's why I took this picture. So that was an awesome place. It's crazy, it really is. A lot of stuff going on in that place, abandoned buildings and stuff. But the ghost's not what you have to worry about. You have to worry about more the living because there's a lot of gang activity going on there. So,
That's too bad that it's like that.
so that's why the cops keep on chasing you out of there. But it's a wild place. You know, I don't recommend people that to go into abandoned buildings or any kind because this building had a lot of asbestos in it, um, and you know you don't realize it until after you go out and you're gagging up white powder. You know, so and it's you just try to stay away from don't break into places. It's not worth it if you get caught. You know, but this was an awesome location. You know.
It looks really creepy. We have a Facebook user that's saying, "What's up, everyone? Fantastic show." We don't know who you are. It just says Facebook user. So if you wouldn't mind telling us who you are, that would be great.
Yeah.
Ron, thank you for um, letting me know that I talk too much and that you didn't want to talk over me. um, I'm going to. Oh, somebody already did it for me. Richard Moschella is with us.
Hey, Rich.
Um,
What man? Good guy.
Hi,
Good,
Bobby.
a good artist.
Anthony, do you have any evidence to share?
I don't have anything live to show you. I could tell you about things that I have that happened to me, or evidence that I do have. But you know, since we're a talk show and not an evidence show, we really don't have anything to show. But I mean, Trans Allegheny. When I went to the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, I was there with Chris Allgood and his wife Audra, and it was an experience. Giuseppe, kind of my team, and it was such an experience. I actually on the third floor in front of the whole group, something seemed to grab my throat, started choking me out, and I couldn't breathe. Really, it was really bad that I actually removed myself from the third floor for a couple minutes just to catch my. But of course, being an investigator, I'm not too smart. I go back into it and investigate. Um, but with evidence, I have so many years worth of evidence, Ron. I wouldn't know where to start, you know. So it's fun. I find it fun to go out into a location that is you know so-called haunted or haunted, and actually get something happen. I like more of the physical type of thing, which physical is not, I could show you a scratch or a push or something like that, but when something actually touches me, I know there's something there that's, um, you know, not so no, so not so that they're negative. Sometimes they just don't want you in their space, and they want to remove you.
Yeah.
You
And that's
know?
like way too far. I mean, I could see if they want to touch you and let you know that they're there, but grabbing you by the throat and choking you out, that's just,
Hmm.
it's going too far.
Yeah.
Um, ha- have you ever had anything like that happen at any other locations? Has it gone far enough that it
Yeah.
was
At Shanley
violent?
Hotel. Shanley Hotel. There's a room upstairs on the third floor. They call it Joe's room. Joe was so-called a hitman for the Irish mob back when in the day when they were speakeasy and all that stuff. And there's an actual chair up in that room. I don't know if it's actually his chair, but they say Joe doesn't want nobody touching that chair. So, being guy I am, I went up to the chair and I had my EVP. I had my recorder going, and I had an EMF meter. So I have my EMF meter, and I say, Joe, are you in this chair? Are you in this chair? As I was doing it, I felt like something like this, and I went up against the wall, like something really grabbed me and pushed me back. And all the meters were going off. Everybody's EMF meters were going crazy. And I was back down like, that's all you got. That's all you got. I wasn't showing it. I wasn't showing whatever grabbed me. I was afraid of it. So I'm trying to fight it back, just by that, which I was scared shitless, something
Yeah.
grabbed me. But when you have it in a situation like that, you don't panic and you don't show them that you're scared because that's what they want. So as I said, that's all you got. That's all you got. All of a sudden, whatever happened, it stopped, and all the all the meters, all the EMF meters stopped. Everything went off. It's like no lights, no nothing. It went dead, nothing. So I said, I guess you want me to leave. As I was walking away and going down the stairs, everybody's EMF meter was starting to go off again. So it's like, I guess because I challenged them, in a way that which I don't like challenging, and I don't think anybody should challenge his spirit. Um, but I showed him I wasn't afraid, so I think maybe that's why he backed off, and then he wouldn't give nobody evidence until I left the floor. So
Wow.
look at this. I'm disappearing here. Look at, look.
It's very paranormal.
Hey, I'm not really here.
I like it. So what would you like to talk about?
Ah, ghost.
Anybody have any questions?
Any questions?
Lady B said that was trippy.
That was trippy. Yeah, I know. Feels like I'm back in the '70s. Not that I did anything back then.
No.
'70s, early '80s. That's more my era. Late '70s, early '80s. Yeah, trippy. Ooh.
So maybe we will talk about this then. So if anybody has had this happen, let us know. Currently, we have a mimic in my house, and we were discussing the fact that it is a doppelganger. I don't know, is it really a doppelganger if it's not the same person every time?
Mm. No, I mean, doppelganger is it's somebody in the house at that time. It doesn't have to be the same person.
It changes.
So it could be another person. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that person. Doppelganger is whoever it wants to be at that moment. So I mean, it could be you one minute, next minute it could be your husband or your daughter. Sometimes it can even be animals too.
So far, it has not been me.
It's probably scared of you.
Could be.
Yeah.
I used Palo Santo and sage, and it did not go away. So it's stronger than most things. Now I'm going to have to go back around and use holy water.
Yeah. Yeah. You have you used any salt yet? Any pink salt? Any
I
salts?
didn't use salt. Sometimes I'll go back around and I'll use salt in each corner of the house. Um, I don't want to use black salt because I want some of the spirits to come through because obviously they're here to ask for help.
Yeah.
I don't
I
want
use pink.
pink.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty much all I use because I cook with it. But
Yeah.
a lot of people say use black salt, but black salt keeps everything out. And, my mom visits or, some other people that are close, they come in. I don't want it to be a complete, blackout. So, Ufi asked if a person dies in a movie, do they have a movie ghost?
Only if the Warrens did the did the investigation. Everything that the Warrens did seems to turn into a movie. You know, so it doesn't always a movie ghost, but I mean they could, I guess. You know,
So V had to get rid of a succubus, and she used salt, holy water, and sprayed it, and sage and Palo Santo did nothing. Did the salt and holy water sprayed, did that get rid of the succubus? And while we're waiting for her answer, Ufi wants to know, does the real that ghosts inhabit have a set of rules for that does the reality that ghosts inhabit have a set of rules for that reality? I don't think ghosts have any rules.
no, I don't think they have any rules or regulations like what we have.
But
You
then
know,
again, if we set rules for them, like, um, you know, you're only allowed to be here between 9 and 5, and nothing, not when I'm in the shower, in the bathroom, whatever. They listen to that. So
Mhm.
they are set rules, but they're our set rules that we give to them. So do they have
Mhm.
set rules on the? I don't know.
I think they. I don't know if they have any rules like what we would have. I think they push to see how much they could get out of us, or how much they could, appear to us, or whatever they want. But if you know, like yeah, if you're in a place and you have a spirit bothering you at certain times, you just tell them, okay, I don't mind you being here, but this is my time. There's certain times that you have to let me be and relax. And I'm not saying it happens all the time that
Mm-hmm.
they do listen, but I mean, some of the times that it could be a 50-50 type of thing.
I
What's
can
that?
agree with that. My main area of interest is astrophysics. What has always fascinated me is the block universe theory that all reality, including the future, exists now, kind of like destiny. Your death has already happened. Your time card hasn't got you there yet. I make sense of this by thinking of the universe in a thought experiment of mine as a road with a beginning and an end, and time as a car. You drive through it, but no reverse gear. The faster you go, the less you age because of time dilation. That's an interesting theory.
That is very interesting. I won't get that call.
What do you think of that?
Um, I mean, when it comes to stuff like that, everything. I mean, you know, what I do with the spirits and stuff like that, astrophysics and everything like that. Um, I really don't know any of that because I haven't really put my mind to that. You know, to really think about that.
It's very deep.
That
Um,
is very deep, and I'm a very shallow person, though.
like a pool.
Yeah, like a pool. Thanks, Facebook used it for that. That's pretty cool.
I think, I don't know. I don't think it happens that way. I mean, we all have our belief system. I don't think it happens that way. But
Goofy, that's a good question.
if someone like pizza when they were alive died, become a ghost.
We had an investigation that we were on, and we asked one of the spirits. We just asked, "What do you want? What do you want from here?" And it said pizza. That's interesting. She said pizza.
So it said that it
Yeah,
wanted
eating pizza. Yeah.
so that would mean that it wouldn't be able to satisfy the desire because it could be around pizza, right?
It could be around pizza, but I think when it comes to you know, yeah, maybe it's not hungry, but maybe like if you something's your favorite, like pizza is your favorite thing in life, in death, I mean, you might think, I love to have a slice of pizza, you
Yeah.
know. So I mean, we did have an EVP, and we're like, what do you? We also asked what your favorite foods are and stuff like that, and we got burgers and different steaks. So I mean, it's depending, I guess so. We even have a person ask for chocolate.
Yeah.
One of the spirits ask for chocolate.
So they're obviously not satisfying their craving.
Hmm.
That's how I would think about it, at least.
Pizza on toast. I never had that. Pizza
um,
on toast is not.
and Facebook user said, "You missed my question at the end." I don't think there was a question.
Go back up to it.
So I make sense of this by thinking of the universe and a thought experiment of mine as a road with a beginning and an end, and time as a car. You drive through it, but no reverse gear. The faster you go, the less you age because of time dilation. I don't think there was a question there.
Well, fast you go, then I mean, if you go light years, I mean, you don't age. It's like a time type
So
of thing.
if I don't think that there's a question there, but if you have a question, please ask. We'll try to answer. Um, Toast. I like toast. I like French toast. Pizza on toast, not so much.
Pizza garlic toast.
Garlic pizza toast, maybe. Hi, gang. Breezy Days says Supernatural ERRT tribe. Thank you. Um, so a ghost wanting to fulfill a desire needs to possess someone to experience it. Yeah, I would think so. Don't you think?
I'm getting all these pop-ups from that the talk that we're in with that group in North Carolina.
Oh,
The
I
same thing been popping up over my where I'm reading everybody's questions. Um, what was that? The ghost waiting? Is that the one?
how come I'm not getting that? Um, so a ghost wanting to fulfill a desire needs to possess someone to experience the desire. So basically, they're possessing a person so that
Mm.
they can fulfill that.
Uh, I don't know. I mean, I've seen that in movies. I haven't really experienced anything like that, or um, and I haven't heard of anything happen to anybody I know or any people I investigated. And I've been investigating for a long time. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I haven't experienced anything like that. But maybe it is possible. You
I
know.
think that would be the only way that they could experience it based on what we've heard,
Hmm.
that they do want to taste or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
I've seen that on shows and TV shows and movies and stuff like that. But in real life, I haven't experienced it.
um, the question is, can we be visited by ghosts from the future?
That is a very interesting. I guess we could because of spirits don't have time.
Yeah,
Ghosts don't,
everything's linear.
they don't have a time. So if they're in the future or in the past, they mean, I guess they could visit a certain location where they're from. You know.
I've never had a ghost talk to me but then again, I don't know because I don't typically ask them, what year is it or where do you come from or They've all typically been. I think there's that meme out there that says, "Why are all the ghosts from the 1700s?" They're not all going to say, "Hey, it's Britney, bitch," like that thing, you know.
They're not all from. I mean, I had spirits a couple years old, couple years, not a couple years old, but a couple years that passed that are still in locations, and um, yeah, you do get some old ones that been somewhere in a location a long time. So I mean, it's like if you go to Europe, I guess you're going to have a lot more Europe or Asia or anywhere you go in the world that have civilizations that go back thousands of years. They're going to
Yeah,
have something there, you know. But when it comes to the future ones, I guess it's possible to come back because, like I said, they don't have time. They don't have time and
it's
space,
just
and they
it's
don't
like
have the physical. They don't have the physical body like we have that restricts us from going any. You know, we got restrictions. We can't go certain. We can't walk through a wall like they can. You know what I'm saying? There's no physical. They're all just energy, and they could do anything. They could go anywhere possible. I believe.
um, does that explain the premise in the Exorcist movie?
The Exorcist movie was actually based on a true story of a boy,
Yeah.
and it was actually based on a true story of a boy that actually the priest and the Catholic Church came in and did the exorcism on him. So that is based
He
on.
was in Indiana, wasn't he?
I don't remember exactly, but I know it's based on the premise of a boy. The church that actually did it. You know, that's where then they get the book. A lot of these stories in books are based on, of course they change it to the Hollywood type or the Hollywood movies and stuff. But um, when it comes to movies, uh, movies is what makes the paranormal more scarier for certain people. Because I mean, like Poltergeist, when that first came out, everybody thought, "Oh wow, look at
It was
that!"
terrifying.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah, it's these big things coming through walls, and you have a pool of dead bodies and all this stuff, and and it's Hollywood makes things scarier. The Shining and all these movies were from back then. They all make ghosts into demons and stuff like that. So Hollywood changes a lot of stuff. So premises of certain movies was based on a true story or something, and they change it to, you know, make more dollar signs for
I
it.
remember when our backyard was being dug for the pool. I was so excited because I was waiting to see what was coming. Like I was hoping that it would rain. Just- and all we found were hamster bones and goldfish bones and cats and dogs. So it was more like Pet Cemetery than it was like Poltergeist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
So it wasn't as interesting.
movies. When it comes to movies and shows and stuff, like I said, they make the ghost spirits a lot more scarier because of I don't know if that is. Uh, uh, they're more because they want to sell a show. I mean, I seen in the show Supernatural, and they had the Fox sisters, and the one
Yep.
sister was evil, one sister was not. And I was looking at that. If you know anything about the Fox sisters, that's not what they were about,
No.
you know. And so they changed the whole premise of certain individuals and made them more scarier than what they really are in real life. So it's just to sell a show, to get their ratings and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Um, so Ginge says maybe there was some celestial event that tethered souls to Earth. Possibly.
mhm. I mean, and how do we know what we're looking at are spirits that might be some kind of something from outer space, some kind of, you know, aliens trying to, you know, scare us with these things and, project them, making, you don't know. We don't know all the stuff when it comes up. Especially when we're in a location and it's dark and it's wet and cramped, like the place behind me. That leaky roofs and mold and asbestos and everything. So you don't know where things. I mean, if an alien came out from there, I would say it's a ghost more than an alien. So
Yeah,
sometimes you got to question what you're seeing actually too.
true.
Something dug up there.
Oofy said, "Hey Ron, we just think them up." Oofy, you guys have the best questions. I go to bed with like a brain that's pounding. um, let's see here. Oh my gosh, there's so many more things. But we have some of our favorite people here.
Hey
Hey,
guys,
Hi.
how
Hey,
are
buddy.
you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Very
How you doing,
good.
guys?
We're so excited you're here, not just because we are so excited to see you, but because they're killing us with questions and we're losing our minds.
Yeah,
Oh, hopefully we can help with that.
you're
Yes,
asking
please.
questions about ghosts, and I'm like, yep,
Well, you've been doing this for 50 years. You know ghosts.
yeah, I
I
know ghosts. I got a ghost that knows a ghost. You know what I'm saying?
And that ghost says, forget about it.
Hey,
Forget about it.
it's
So how
good
you
to
guys
see you guys on the screen instead of in the chat. You guys always in the chat. We always check you out.
I'm in the chat.
Are you in the
You're
chat?
still in the
now?
chat?
Are you Facebook?
I am. I'm on the Facebook chat.
Okay, because you're probably coming as Facebook user.
Yeah, you have to say who you are when you leave.
Well,
a
I
message.
just wrote hi.
Hi.
Do you know where you are, Anthony?
Oh,
Huh?
I just saw it.
Do you know where you are?
Do I? I don't know. I am. Hey,
Well, look where he's at.
yeah.
He's like half disappeared. One arm's missing.
Yep. That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's Kings Park behind me. The Kings County Asylum or Kings County Psychiatric Park Hospital, and that's I did an investigation there years ago. That's in Kings Park, New York.
Okay. Nice.
You're always doing something.
I was
He
doing.
is.
You got,
He
try
is
to keep
trying to do
busy.
something. So, how are you guys? What are you up to?
Watching the Yankee game.
And we're
Watching
taking
Yankee
away
game.
from that.
For
By the way,
now.
And
Yeah.
Katie's going to be the only one left here soon.
I know. You're gonna hear him screaming, "No!"
No, I got the TV
No.
turned. I don't want to be
He
distracted.
can watch replay.
So
Listen, we don't want to take you away from something so important.
yeah,
You love my Yankees.
you little Yankee.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Yankee.
So, what I really wanted to know was, so Steve is a big celebrity. He was on Death Walker.
Yeah. I'd hardly call me a celebrity. Anthony was on Night Shift?
Paranormal Nightshift.
Paranormal Nightshift.
So we have
Yeah.
two celebrities. Katie, we got to get in on this somehow.
No, I'm more behind the
Battle.
scenes.
But you were on.
She
what?
was there.
She was there.
Well, then she's a celebrity too.
Yeah, but Nick actually used your equipment.
Yeah.
Nick and also what you have the Tesla coil.
Yep. And I got him to sign it afterwards.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Big ass Tesla coil. You could power a building with that thing. The one
That
you
thing's
have.
pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I got a
I
little
was-
tiny, like small Tesla coil, which I've used and I got results. But I can imagine what you get. Your hair's probably stand up when you turn that thing on.
yeah, I was invited to go out on set with Nick and today actually was when they filmed their show, but I just thought it was 6 hours each way. I'm like 12 hours because they already had somebody on there who was doing stuff, so I would just be hanging out. So I'm like, I'm not gonna drive 12 hours just to hang out.
I would.
Where was it? Up in Buffalo?
Rolling Hills.
It was Rolling Hills. Oh, okay. I seen Dan doing something with Rolling Hills recently.
You been there?
I never been there. That's one place I've been wanting to go, and every time I'm going to go, you know, I want. Look, I'm totally disappearing. I'm spiritual. Yay! Um, you know, when we go, we want to get the whole place. I'm not going to jump on somebody's on a little tour.
From what I yeah, that's what I'm saying. From what I hear, it's very very expensive, and you get 12 hours, and it's strict. It's
Mhm.
as soon as you pull in the driveway, the time starts.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah.
in 12 hours, you're out.
Wow.
I mean, they're hooking up with Dan, so hopefully be a little different, you know. But yeah,
That's right. Dan's going to be at the Ritz, right?
yeah, he's gonna be at the Ritz. I'm not sure exactly. I seen him advertised. I don't know the exact date, but he's gonna be
Yeah,
at
I
the
just
Ritz.
saw it advertised too.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we're gonna have him on the show in June. He's gonna
Yeah,
be
he's
an
a good
outfit.
guy. He's a good guy. Great guy to hang out with.
Good guy. Yeah, yeah, good guy. I mean, I met him years ago when they first started with the Hinsdale, opening up the Hinsdale to the for investigation because they had a hard time there. He bought the place, and then they the place wasn't sound enough for people to come in and out and all that stuff, and he had to do a bunch of different things. So I know him for a long time. I know him as long as I know you.
You yeah, right. We a dozen years probably.
Yeah, I met you what 2010.
That's what I'm saying. It's about a dozen years or so.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you been in the Hinsdale house?
Yeah, we were just there a couple weeks ago.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
How is it? Is it? It's
Oh,
old.
huh? Cold?
It's old, but
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, and it's you drive down this long dirt road, and at the end of the long dirt road, this farmhouse, and there's a lake on the side, and there's the trees all around and everything. And I mean, it's as you pull up, you can feel energy.
did you
Can
get
feel the
anything?
energy. Yeah. Did we get anything? Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have Ron and Lotus. They were doing their stuff there, and it was very interesting what we were getting out of that. Um, also, when I got there, I seen on the stairs. I seen a little girl, and I actually drew it. I drew the girl,
Ooh.
Oh, that's
Nice.
and I gave it to them, so they're going to put it up in the house. It's gonna be
oh
Very
awesome.
cool. Very
yeah.
cool.
So yeah, it was an interesting night. Very interesting. You hear things talking and everything. It was great. And it was only the four of us. That was the best part about it. You know, when you have only four people,
Yeah.
investigation is much better. You
Yeah.
know,
Well,
Did
it's
you
a
sleep
small
there?
place, though, right?
what?
It's a small place.
Yeah, it's not that big. I mean, you can't have a lot of people there to do investigation at once. Four people, five. I mean, six people. I've been there with a lot more than that. But what we did was, I went there. We had like 8 people. So what we did was
Teams.
send 4 people in at a time.
Like
And
rotate.
people wait, yeah, you know, and see what you get. So yeah, we got. I mean, Ron and Lotus, they got a lot of stuff on there in the machine, and we did mostly. We did the Esther box, the Esther, you know, the ones I do with the wireless,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we got some results. We actually did it with the static comp. First
Okay.
time they did it, we actually did with the static comp instead of the spirit box, and it was interesting. Really, we had got a couple of nice things coming out
How
of that.
old is that house? It's like 1600s, isn't it?
I don't think it's that much. I think it's like 1700s, but still, it's old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they had exorcism there. They had a priest come in and exorcise the one room there. I had so many experience. I've been I must have been there at least 10 times already.
Okay.
And I have every time you went there, we had a door open years ago before he changed the door, and the door opened up in the middle of the night on us. Yeah, click, and I locked the door, so I know there's
Huh.
no questions. I locked the door, and the door you hear click, open, and the interesting part about that is, it opened, if anyone opened the door from the front of the house, there's a spotlight. So as soon as somebody walks up to the spotlight pops on.
Okay.
There's no spotlight. The door opened up by itself. And there was no
Wow.
wind or nothing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We gotta get you guys up there.
Yeah, no, I would love to get up there.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty far too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have trouble driving at night, so like
It's 7 hours for
I
me.
just don't like to drive at night.
You have to learn how to teleport.
Yeah, that's all. You teleport.
Or a train, somewhere where I could take a
We
train. I
went
like
there. We went there the night after Richard and I did the Ritz.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
right.
And then we went up to my place in the Poconos, and then from the Poconos we drove up to Hinsdale,
That's
and
right.
that's where that was nice. We had a good time. We really did.
Steve, I just looked. It was built in the mid 1800s.
Oh, it was 1800s. That's the same as
Yeah.
my house.
1800s? Okay, so we were both wrong. Hey, hey, what do you want? I can't remember everything. Hey,
My house was built in 1845, so
Is it really?
yeah.
1845.
Awesome.
Wow.
And do you know that there's something there, or
Yeah, definitely. I've grew up here all my whole life. I bought the house 25 years ago from my father, so and I mostly lived here alone until I got married. So, you know, it's
Yeah, and then
it's
the
always
old
active here, but you get used to it, and it's great because I build paranormal equipment, and what's better,
Easy to test.
it's easy to test.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a,
You don't even have to leave the house. That's why
I
we
know
do
you right now
smart.
too. So. I'm sorry, Maureen.
That's okay. We have a question. Do poltergeists ever never show themselves because they are shy? Well, poltergeists are noisy ghosts, so they're not going to be shy, right?
I wouldn't think so.
Poltergeist now.
I mean, they
Spirits
throw like
are shy.
dishes and stuff, so yeah, I'd say they're definitely noisy.
I thought poltergeists though were like a living person's energy is being causing the stuff.
Well,
Or did I learn wrong?
Poltergeist is a German word for noisy ghost.
Noisy ghosts.
Okay.
So they're not going to be shy.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
There's,
So
there
they're
are
gonna be
spirits
noisy,
that
loud.
when you go into locations that will hide on you, and a lot of times they hide in the attic or the basement or just a cluttered room. You have a cluttered room and stuff, which I know I have, and things
Our house.
they hide. Yeah. But, so
Ginge says huzzah to the Hultays.
Huzzah!
so Steve,
With the poltergeist thing, I think you are onto something. I think they said when people are going through like a hard time,
Like stress or puberty or
something like that, that's usually when it kicks in high gear.
Yeah,
So
it's
I think it brings it on.
Like teenage girls who are going through puberty, and then they have like the rage and the hormones going and whatever, or like middle-aged
used as
women.
energy.
Yeah,
I didn't hit puberty yet, so I wouldn't. I got to wait.
but you're in that asylum, so you
Yeah, I'm in
know.
the asylum right now. All right. I like ice cream. Yeah,
Every
I've
time
never
you
been to any
disappear.
asylums. I always want to go to one.
yeah,
I would really like to go
Here's
to one.
Allegheny. We went there. That was awesome. You know.
Yeah.
Penhurst also.
Oh, I never been to Penhurst either. I want to go there too.
Matter of fact, this weekend's the Penhurst
They're
the Paracon.
Yeah, it's a good event. A lot of good people are going to be there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you guys going or?
I'm gonna go there Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
How far of it? Where are you located?
I'm in between Wilkes-Barre and Scranton and PA, so that's like a 2-hour drive for me.
Oh, that's not
Okay.
bad.
Yeah.
No, but it's so worth it when you see who's going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching. The only show I actually still watch, believe it or not, is the original Ghost Hunters, because I don't know, their stuff is kind of antiquated. Like, they're still just after 20 years, they're still just carrying around a flashlight and a digital recorder and an EMF detector. I mean, they haven't really evolved, but they're true to themselves. But the other day I was watching an episode though, and they had they were in a mine, and there was a bunch of people that died in a mine. And I have never seen, Anthony, you always have your camera on you. I don't do camera stuff because I just never got anything through a camera. But they got somebody walking to the mine, and it looked like an old lantern, and they were walking down the path.
Oh wow.
And I was like, whoa. And you could actually, it was transparent. You could see through it.
Yeah.
It's like the Golden Grail.
Yeah. And that like never happened. So now I'm like, maybe I'll do a little video every now and then.
Even when I'm not investigating, I always have my cell phone with me, and I always take pictures. And no matter where I go, I always get something. Always. Just taking pictures.
Like shadow creatures.
When I went to Eastern State Pen, I took a picture. These two little old ladies, bless their hearts. I'm not real patient, but they were like right on top of me the whole time. And I just wanted to get some space. And as soon as they got down one of the corridors far enough, I finally turned around to take a picture, because you know how it like splits off like the wheel?
Mm-hmm.
I took the picture and I just kind of ignored it until I got out of there, because I don't like to look at my evidence until I get out and I'm by myself. And there are these guards that I swear to you have to be 7 or 8 feet tall. They have their jackets with a white crisp shirt with a really thin tie and a hat. And the one is like literally like this, staring at me.
Whoa.
And he disappears. From the knees down, he's gone. So you can see that. And I mean, that's not something that can be made up, but you can tell he's opaque, but kind of like starting to go a little translucent.
Mm-hmm.
And
cool.
And there's another one after him, but he's just barely noticeable. And I thought, oh my God, this is crazy. I have another one. I went after that. He's in one of the corridors that's on lockdown, so you can't really have anybody go into this hallway except for down at the very end. It's kind of open. This guy's just standing there in the middle of it with his arms down, he's like clutching his hands in the guard's uniform and everything, and he's just standing there staring at me.
I've been to Eastern State a few times, and it doesn't disappoint. I like the place. You know, it's the first time I went there, it was during a really bad thunder and lightning storm. So it was pouring rain, lightning. It was just such the perfect atmosphere to be in there. And I love when you can stand in the center and you can look down every hallway just by standing in the center. That's pretty cool.
I've never been there.
No?
Well,
It's amazing.
No, because when I started with the team and everything, and then finally when I got enough people to get together to actually rent out the whole location, they don't rent out to us no more. They don't do it anymore.
Yeah, I rented the last time I went there. We rented the whole place out. It wasn't even that much either. I think it was like $1,200, and we had like, you know,
$1,200 nowadays. That's like nothing compared to those places. You know,
I want to get back there because they opened the medical wing,
which I wasn't allowed in.
Yeah, none of us were allowed in there, so it was just completely locked down. But now they have like a society where you can join the society and pay your money, and you can go for the galas and whatever. And now the medical wing's open, of course, and you know you could go for all the parties. But I would like to just go back to walk through and do like the tour, and just go through the medical wing and kind of just see what I get.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed in Al Capone's vault, Al Capone's cell either.
How that?
Oh, Steve. Now,
Yo.
I know with the radio,
That was weird.
the ITC, you guys are ITC geniuses when it comes to radios. But you were trained by the creator of the Frank box?
Frank Sumption himself, yeah.
Frank
He was the
Sumption.
first
So you
one,
were actually taught by the person that's pretty much started, one of the pioneers in this, no?
Yeah, 2002, I think he built his first ghost box. And I started talking to him in 2007 is when I started talking to him. But, I mean, I worked with a guy, Joe Ciappi, before him because I knew about Frank and I knew about the idea. And I met this guy, Joe, online, and he says, I'm doing the same thing. I could do it with FM because I think at the time Frank was just using AM. So he says, I'm going to try it with FM. So I worked with Joe. He lived in Pennsylvania. And I went out there every weekend and we sat there and we used to exchange books with each other, read up on stuff, and just sit at the table and just brainstorm. And then he would give me prototypes, and I'd go and I'd use them. I'd be like, no, I'd write down what's, I don't like this, I don't like that, stuff like that. Let's make it better. Next weekend, I'd go back there, he'd fix it the way I wanted it, and we did this on and on for months until we finally came up with what I just called the Joe's box, because I figured Frank had Frank's box and Joe would be the Joe's box, and he was the one building it. I still have the very first one.
You still
2007.
you have Joe boxes and you have Frank box too, don't you?
I only have 16 left.
16.
Wow.
Yeah, I had over 30 at one point.
Oh wow.
How long does it take to create it?
For Frank or for us?
For you.
I think it depends on the setup.
Me, it takes a lot faster than it takes her, because
Right under the bus. Right under that bus, Katie.
well, because I use me personally as an investigator in ITC and doing ghost box research. I don't care what it looks like. I don't. I just care what it sounds like. If it sounds good, I don't care what it looks like. So, and a lot of people out there are the exact opposite. I mean, a lot. Most are. Yeah, they don't even care what it sounds like. They just want it to look nice. They're the exact opposite people out there. They want something they could put on their coffee table and people go, "Whoa, what's that?"
Basically, Steve has no interest in ITC arts and crafts.
No arts and
I
crafts.
personally find it therapeutic. It gives me a chance to do something creative, and
And you got some nice the boxes you make. All that is like art. It really is.
Yeah, I made them out of Tupperware.
Yeah, I seen that thing you gave to Ron that time. It was in a Tupperware, and it was great. He just put wires in a Tupperware with switches, and it's one of those Tupperwares you buy in the
Dollar store.
99-cent store, and it worked great. But
Because I don't care what it looks like as long as it works great.
So if it looks like shit, it's from Steve. If it looks great, it's Katie.
Yeah,
basically.
Pretty much.
I mean,
Just go out to the garage and pick whatever you find.
I have made custom boxes, but you don't want to see those. It looks like Helen Keller drilled the holes.
You have writing on it with a marker or a pen.
I mean, there's nothing lines up. You got a hole up here, and then the other hole's like here somewhere.
It gives it character.
It's like nothing lines up. It's like I never even heard of a ruler.
But it works, and it works great. That's the whole thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to have anything beautiful to make it work good. I mean, either one of you. I mean, both of you guys are unbelievable on the stuff you make. I still got the Orion, Orion box.
Yep.
I still use that, and and people hear that and they're like, "Oh, that's great," and that's how a lot of people, when we go on investigation, like, "Where'd you get that?" And it's like, Katie, Steve, go to Hultays.
I like that. That was a hot seller. I think we're up to number 33.
Wow.
33? On what, the
Orion.
Yeah.
I think I got
One of the early ones.
like 8 or 9.
No, you have a later one than that, I
I
think.
had a little one.
Well,
No, I think it was one
I
of
got that little one. You made that little one that you,
yeah, it's a teeny tiny one, right?
the little tiny one.
They're like
They-
Polly
they-
Pockets.
And it works great. I mean, I'm in there, and I said we went to the Ritz Theater that time, and Frank liked it. I think I'm not sure. I think he got one from you, or he's getting one from you.
Frankie.
You're Frankie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah, because we were there. He goes, "What's it?" And I brought it out, and I showed him how to adjust it and stuff.
And
And we
Anthony
changed
has one.
stuff.
Yeah, Anthony has one, and he's swinging by on Saturday.
getting one too?
Because he's picking up an RCA I built for him.
The RCAs are pretty cool too.
Those
Very
sound
clear, very
great.
clear, very clear
Yeah.
sounding.
I'm gonna have have to get one because everyone else has one now.
It is the clearest sounding thing. The only thing is it just looks like a regular boombox radio, but
Yeah.
it sounds great.
Yeah, but I think if you like take the guts out and were to put it in
Which I've
something
done.
prettier, it doesn't have that. The sound is degraded a little bit.
I want mine to look like absolute shit just so I could say this is
Oh,
this
I'm
is
your
the
guy.
best ever. Okay. So our station manager, Ron, he has an AM Chaos box number 3.
Yes. I
Yeah.
remember that.
And he's so proud of it. He really loves it.
Cool.
Those
Cool,
chaos
cool.
boxes are incredible because, for ease of use. I mean, it's a random sweep box, which originally, when Frank Sumption was making his boxes, he only did random, and then he forgot somewhere along the lines he just couldn't duplicate it anymore. He didn't know what he did wrong. He just like had a brain thing, and he couldn't do random anymore. So all the chaos boxes are random sweep box. It's
But
a power.
it also goes random as far as like the sweep rate. So
Everything
you'll get
changes.
some slower parts, which I kind of worry about. Like if somebody's inexperienced, that they might make up a story if it's obvious radio. For somebody
Yeah.
who's experienced, they're going to know that's obvious radio. But when it kicks into going really fast, that's a lot of times where you're going to get communication.
I
But
have
yeah.
one of those, like it's an old it looks like an old record player, but it has a CD player and it has the cassette tape player and whatever. And sometimes I'll like sweep through quickly and you'll hear hi, like that kind of stuff. Which is
Like
really,
a manual sweep?
yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
But you just have to get the right tempo to it. So so it's not like, hey, this is Frankie with whatever.
Right.
But I'll get like, hi, Karen, like that kind of thing. And you'll get certain things that come out of it. And it's really cool to have that because then you're not using your phone with one of those, junk apps that you use. And it's not.
Wait. The apps are good. X. He came and Steve actually made an app.
Well, some of the apps are good.
Which app did you make?
We did live Ghost Box app and
Joe's Box.
Joe's Box app, Frank's
Box.
Box app, and
then we gave up on apps.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody,
They were a pain in
the
our
brother
ass.
and sister, pets, everybody was making apps. Yeah.
So what is a good app to use for people who are watching?
I don't even use them anymore. When
really
we stopped making them, I just kind of said, I'm done.
But I'll tell you what you could use though. Live Ghost Box.
A Hultay Ghost Box.
Ghostbox Live.
Hultay Ghost Box.
Ghostboxlive.com.
Ghost Box.
Hultayparanormal.com, and there's a free Ghost Box stream that's live running from upstairs.
Yeah, we have the stream running upstairs. It's half forward speech, half reverse speech. And if you go to Hultay Paranormal, it's on there, or ghostboxlive.com. You can hit play, and anywhere in the world, you can hear it.
Free.
It's free, and you can listen to it anywhere, and it's live from upstairs in our house.
It's HultayParanormal.com.
You'll see it'll say free
Yeah,
Ghost Box.
it's a menu item on there, and then, or you can just go straight to ghostboxlive.com.
Yeah.
And
then I'll just bring up the player.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And in the past, we've had people, in other countries use it, and they get stuff that's relevant. So I really don't think that the location matters.
I don't think so either.
I think it's been
because
shown
people
to us time and time again that it doesn't really matter. It can be a remote ghost box and still provide relevant messages.
We've had people in other countries talk to them in their native language.
Yeah.
Through it.
Wow.
That's cool.
So how does that happen?
Yeah.
That was a dream of mine and Frank's, just to put a ghost box out there for the world to use. So
that's really cool, you guys.
Frank didn't live long enough to see me do it, but it's there now, and we keep it free. Not everybody can afford a ghost box, and it works really well.
Yeah, well, there's people that are starting out also, they question some of the stuff that we use and maybe what you build or other people build. So if you give an app like that and they're like, ooh, hey, this works. Maybe I should have this, an app, or maybe I should have the ghost box itself. Because a lot of locations we go to, sometimes we don't have service. You know, you go into these jails and stuff like that. Now you have a box and you just put it there and you turn it on and you got it working.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we started doing the phonetic boxes, is
Mm-hmm.
for that reason. You know, mostly is because what if you go somewhere where you don't get a radio signal, and I'm a ghost box guy, so I'm like, what do I do? You know, so you got to have a backup plan. So now you got the phonetics, which you don't need a signal for that. You know,
Yeah.
it generates its own randomness and signal.
Which is awesome. That's guys do an awesome job with all the boxes, everything you built. And I was fortunate to listen to hear like every new thing that comes out because Ron picks up everything. He buys, and
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, we have quite a few repeat customers.
yeah. Well, I mean, we go to a Paracon or something, and I'm with them helping them out, and his whole table is full of just the Hultay boxes. The whole table.
I'm okay with that.
And here I come with my one Hultay box, and I'm like, look at the table. I'm like, do I have room for my little guy here? The whole table is full of them, and they.
What does yours look like, Anthony?
Huh?
What does yours look like?
Let me see if I have it up here. I'll go get it. I'm gonna disappear now.
You're gonna run back home. He's jumping through the portal.
Oh.
And with the chaos boxes that I was mentioning before, it's either AM or FM, but it's the ease of use is great because it's got a power button and a volume knob.
So it's like no fail.
No.
Yeah. So you basically,
She programmed in it's speeding up, slowing down, and randomly doing that, and so you don't have to do anything. You just turn it on.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, like when you're dialing on a regular AM FM radio, you don't know what speed to do it, and then it starts to sound like you could hear the radio coming through, and you can hear something else coming through, and it's difficult for people who have never done it before.
Right. Yeah, I think Chaos Box is a good type of box for a beginner, provided that they remain aware of if it's on the slower end of the sweep rate range, to be conscious of not to make up stories with radio words,
Right.
Like I'm not big on like the app just throw out words because if
yeah,
there it is.
That's
It's
20.
so
You're right.
cute.
It's 20. It's
It's
disappearing with me.
the Polly Pocket Ghost Box.
You see, I got a little kitty on there. No. I get it inside to see it.
Wiki lights, people like that.
Sometimes it takes a little while. Yeah. That's the one I have. See, Katie's design, because it's all.
It's perfect.
It's purdy.
It's
It's a purdy
purdy.
box.
That actually
and
sounds.
that's got random mode where it just does its own thing, and then it also has a manual mode where you could actually adjust the pitch, the tone,
Yeah.
the
Steve likes
speed.
the scary voice.
I do.
All on one end. If you turn it.
If you turn the dial all to one end, it's like that's what it sounds like.
It sounds like ministry.
You can do it. Can you get that on manual?
Let me see if I can get it.
It's all on one direction, all the way to the right or left. I forget which one. I think right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it changes. Sometimes.
All right, gotcha.
Is it on random or manual?
Yes, put it on manual.
You got to put it on manual.
Is that what the voice is talking about?
No.
It sounds like the beginning to Intergalactic.
It's on manual right now.
It's on manual? Which is the button that you do?
It's manual fine tune.
The fine tuning? You got to turn it all the way. Either I don't know if it's left or right.
The tuning?
Maybe this doesn't have it on it.
They all have them. I got the first one.
Maybe. Yeah.
You'll definitely know it when you hear it.
That's speed, isn't it?
No, not the speed. It's the
The
tuning.
manual fine tune. Am I saying fine tune on it?
Okay, now it's gonna bug me. I got one right here.
Now too. I made Steve come up, get up and get one.
Yeah, it's right there, Steve.
Where?
It's right there. Close it. Hold on, guys.
It
Now,
sounded
that
like it was. It sounded like it was
Here,
rocking
we can see
higher
this
and
one.
higher.
This one's for sale.
Is it cute?
So, wait. Oh, there's a 10-second. Blank.
It's for sale at HultayParanormal.com. Just saying.
There.
And much more.
And if you buy this today, you get a second one for the same
For
price.
the same price.
Did you hear that?
No, I'm sorry.
You broke it.
That's the voice I like.
I love that.
See, I like there's a whisper voice that happens right before it.
Uh-huh.
It might be too hard to hear over the airwaves. And I also like doing this.
We're knob turners.
Yeah.
I love that so much. You know what? I would actually talk to the ghost and I would be like, here, tell my children to go to bed. Go to bed.
And there's no words in there. It's only
Yeah.
sounds.
And there's no.
It sounds like it's talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does.
I almost went berserk when I first started working on this because I was listening to it over and over so often that I would start talking like this and during the day.
Like the other day, you talk
And I was starting to not believe in it because there are some naturally occurring combinations. So I kept hearing oatmeal and chocolate. And then one day I heard, "I'm talking to you in your office." And I was like, okay, it works.
That's cool. It's great.
And lately we've been she's been building her Phoenix device. It's a more involved speech chip. It sounds more like real voices. And I implemented reverse. I've always loved reverse speech because if anything comes through and it's backwards, it won't make any sense. People are like, "Oh, I do that all the time." I'm like, "No, you're sweeping backwards. Sweeping backwards is still broadcasting forwards.
Yeah.
It's just sweeping backwards.
Right.
Back in the channels instead of going up in the channels, going back.
Right. Instead of going up, you're going down, but it's still forward speech.
Correct.
I made it, in 2012, I believe. I started the reverse box, and I got it to all you hear is it backwards. So when the skeptics were out there saying like, "Oh, you're just hearing words from the radio," I'm like, well, now what?
Right.
Now I'm not hearing just words from the radio because it doesn't make any sense. So if I say my name and it says my name,
It's just another layer to help stop false positives.
so we're building the Phoenix boxes now, and that's also no words and it's more human sounding voices, and she's doing that in reverse. And this is the latest one. You got to see this thing. It's pretty cool.
I don't know if you can see it.
No way.
That is cool.
Katie. Love it.
Yeah, she likes those serial killers on those things.
These things, yeah, I mean they're not cheap to make though. You know.
Well,
I'm
this
sure.
beach tip is hard to find.
Sorry.
It's all right.
That's nice. That's very nice.
Maybe
That
we
was
should
awesome.
see if anybody in the chat has a question they want us to ask. The box.
Yeah, that's
Well,
a good
they were
idea.
asking earlier if the spirits say they love pizza, will they be craving pizza and will they not be able to taste pizza? Or will they have to jump into someone's body to taste the pizza? You know what I mean? Like, do they get to?
That is a great question. I know Frank used to tell me all the time. He said the ghosts in his house love pizza. He goes, they can't eat it, but they love having it around. So he always had pizza around.
So do they get to? Do they satisfy their craving?
I guess just having it around, it just reminds them that they love pizza. I don't know. Can't really eat it. They don't have a physical body. So
Maybe the smell of the pizza.
Maybe.
Because I was saying earlier when we guys got on, we had an investigation and we said, "What do you want? What do you want here?" And they said pizza. So I guess the spirits like pizza, like us.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to miss pizza. Can't you tell?
Are you sure
this is what this the Phoenix sounds like. It's reverse speech, and it's just all sounds, no words. Little bit of reverb.
I'm going to ask the box. Can you name the show? Can you name the show that right now you're being played on?
What show are we on? And this one really doesn't make any sense. So if you get anything out of this, you definitely got something.
Yeah, the words are going backwards, so it's. And the funny part about it, there's no dictionary or anything put into this.
No, just sounds.
Yeah.
It's just sounds and everything.
Basically,
so getting that.
There's a printout where I show what phonemes are used, and basically uses phonemes and the English alphabet, and then that's put through a reverse speech circuit, and it's all experimental.
Mm-hmm.
Try and see what works. I'm a big proponent of taking stuff that worked in the past and using today's technology to try to make it better.
Yeah,
because it already worked. Why not just make it better? It just
that's right. I mean,
makes more sense to me.
That's really cool.
With all this computer stuff coming out and everything, you may be able to put something into a computer and get something else out of it, especially the words and stuff, which is very interesting with it. I mean, with this, it's funny because when I first got into the paranormal, we were just looking for, physical or, something manifesting in front of us. And we weren't, you had words, but it wasn't as big as it is today. Everybody wants to hear something right away, and they want to hear something spoke. They want to hear spirit speak to them. When I first started this, we were looking for the, see a spirit just manifest in front of us, and so it is coming to a new era of investigation where we're actually hearing spirits talk to us. You
got to put your time in. I mean, I started out with dowsing rods. I still like dowsing rods.
I do too.
I got a couple sets of dowsing rods. I started, like I said, dowsing rods, a compass, and a 35 millimeter camera with a big flash. Poof.
I'm dousing rods.
The light was on like this big. You know?
You know, if you notice a 35 millimeter camera, because I used to use that as well, you get hardly any dust particles on a 35 millimeter. Digital picks up a lot of dust particles.
Yeah. And night vision, because it just reflects off it. But when you had those 35 millimeter cameras, you didn't have, especially if you didn't have to have a flash or anything on it just to take a picture, But now everything's poof, and you get the reflection off a piece of dust or rain or anything that could reflect light. And then
I
we
still
went
have
out there
a
to see it.
Polaroid camera.
Mhm.
The Polaroid cameras. That's pretty old school.
Yeah. But I mean,
still have
the
one.
one thing
Two
about
of those.
35 millimeter cameras and stuff like that, with evidence, because you're making it on film. So when they used to develop the film, if there's a piece of hair or something dust got on that piece of film on that negative, now it looked like there was a piece of evidence. There was something on there.
Yeah.
So that was it. But I mean, it was good back then, and we're into a new era with a lot of stuff. Katie, you put that thing on my head. Remember?
Yeah.
That thing.
That thing. She goes, nobody tried it yet. I said, oh, I'll try it. She goes, okay. Put it on my head. I thought I was gonna get like electrical shocks and stuff. Like,
You used up all the paper.
Should we explain that?
Yes,
So people know what
please.
we're talking about?
Okay, I'll go get it.
Yeah. Explain that, because I destroy the English language, and when I try explaining things, it doesn't always come out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, I'll have to have her explain it.
Yeah.
All I know is it's like the movie Scanners.
Yeah, she put it on my head, and there's things and it's reading my brain, and all this paper's coming up, and it's like, wow.
So let's see, this thing, I know our lighting's bad in here, but this thing right here, you put it on your head, and there's a little clip. This is like a grounding clip right here that you put on your left ear, and it communicates using Bluetooth to, it's really hard to see. This thing is basically a receipt printer in here. And depending on your brain waves, if your brain waves are high enough, it will trigger the receipt printer to print out words. And in here, there's over 2 million records.
Wow.
And so there's multiple dictionaries. There's the Titanic roster. There's census records. There's top Google searches.
Oh my God.
They all predate like the COVID era, because that's when I started this project. And so there's no like COVID related, Google searches in here. There are some X-rated entries that I just left in there. So if something rude comes out,
That's why I felt that way when I left that night. I don't know. I was a little anxious that night afterwards.
You kept triggering it like on and on.
I like it because when you put it on, it's
You want to put it on?
no.
Okay.
I like when you put it on, and it's not only usable for paranormal, but it's a piece of science equipment. It reads your brain waves.
Yeah.
And it spits out words from 2 million words. So what's the chances of getting stuff relevant coming from your brain to the printer?
It was going up and down, and I thought my brain waves would be straight across.
You do have a brain.
But I do have.
Yeah, it's there.
A brain.
Yeah.
And Katie proved it. Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
Now I can tell my old teachers I do have a brain.
I needed someone to back it up.
Katie proved I do have brains.
So,
and they're in my head too. I'm not just sitting on them.
So it's reading your brain waves, but does that mean that the spirits are using you as like a conduit?
Well, I don't know about that, but one thing that did notice is I would be testing this out with the receipt printer, but sometimes I would have like a chaos box going, or even just a regular post box going, and it seemed like to me whenever my brain waves were at that high level where it would trigger the receipt printer to go off, that the ghost box would also change in its quality, and messages would come through. So there very well could be a correlation between our brainwaves and communication that comes through.
I feel
it's hard to prove.
I feel it's kind of cool too, because it might be accessing the part of the brain that psychics access. Psychics access. That's a hard one to say.
Yeah.
But it may tune into the way they tune in, except they're seeing it and they're hearing it and they're telling you what it is. Ours is printing it out.
That's what's awesome about it. And that, I mean, that's part of the brain that the psychics use it pretty much. I think it's the delta.
Delta.
The delta, and that's pretty much what they use mostly in their brain. So if you're reading that and stuff's coming out, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and it lists the values for each of the brainwaves. It's basically a mind flex game. The game that you put the headset on to control a ball and stuff like that. So basically, I hacked that for ITC.
Yeah, and that night you put it on, and we're at the Ritz Theater, and that place has activity, and I was on stage with Ron and they were doing the radio there.
That was when you were tap dancing, right?
Yeah, I was tap dancing. Ritz!
Tap dancing, and he had a brain that night.
Yes. Wow.
He had a brain.
Double threat.
I only had a brain, and Katie proved I did.
So the Ritz has activity. Go ahead.
It has activity, and I was like, when I was like, just, part of everything going on, nothing was happening. So I just closed my eyes and just like kind of meditated more or less, and I was just relaxing and just listening to everything going on, and that's when it started working more, and that's why I kept on doing it. And it seemed like more of a meditation that you just relax and just take in, and that's when it worked. So that was interesting, because when I was active and going back and forth with that thing on my head, nothing happened. That I didn't have any brains then. But,
so what kind of words were coming out?
Or you were scatterbrained.
Ron had asked in the chat if it's just hardware or is there software involved as well. I think that's what he wrote. I gotta scroll back.
Is it all just hardware, or do you have to write a program for it?
There you go.
Oh, well,
That's you.
For this contraption right here, I had to write a program for it. So, and then I also had to pair up the Bluetooth to communicate and to extract the information from the headset. And so, but the headset itself has its own software from the Mindflex game, and it's proprietary. They do have a developer kit, but it doesn't tell you how they come up with the individual values for each of the brainwaves. So that's something that over time I'm going to have to keep an eye on and see if there's any patterns and stuff like that. But the software in here is from the actual game itself, and so I'm just extracting that information, and then I write my own program to utilize and trigger it.
That's amazing.
You can use me as a guinea pig anytime. Just throw it on my head and see what happens.
Okay.
No problem.
What's the deal?
You know what I mean? I come out with like kind of like electrical burns on my feet.
Oh my God, you're not gonna singe your
I
head.
don't have no more hair to singe on the top, so don't worry about that.
So what kind of answers did you give, Anthony? Do you remember?
You got a name, didn't you?
Yeah, you know something? Everything happened so much that night. I don't remember everything I got. And the receipts that had names on it, and there was a couple of names, and I think one of the names corresponded to what was coming off the radio.
Yeah, you had so many messages off the receipt, though, too.
Yeah.
There was a lot to go
Kept on
through.
going.
It looked like a CVS receipt.
Coming out.
Probably
Yeah.
not as long.
Right?
Because I find that really interesting that, when he was meditating, it was giving more information. So was it like working off of his higher consciousness?
Well, what it's being triggered by your attention or your focus or how relaxed you are or both. So I have it. So basically it can go off in 3 ways. It can go off if you're 100% relaxed, which is maybe what Anthony was. It's going to trigger the message to come out. If you're 100% focused, then it's also going to. If you're above 70% on both, it will also. Well, that's basically
Isn't it different colors also? Lights on there, or different type of if you're different type of like you relax one color, and if you're more active, different color. Wasn't it colors? Didn't you have lights on it or something?
Yes. So there's a light bar. So if you're just sitting there with this headset on, and you're like nothing's happening, you get this.
Scooter.
You get
Scooter.
Hold on, my cat's drinking my Diet Coke.
I was thinking margarita.
Nah, we don't drink.
But basically, so let's say if you're 100% focused, it's going to show up green, I think, or relaxed. I can't remember. I need to write it down.
Yeah.
But and then if you're above 70% on both, you're just going to get pure white. So you're going to have visual feedback. So
Okay.
it's also good to help you concentrate, just in regular life too, I suppose.
And you guys sell this as well?
Not yet. I needed a 3D printer, and that just arrived today. So
Yeah,
soon.
ours broke a while ago.
We'll get some up soon.
Yeah, see, she makes this too. The cases, that's 3D printed.
That's awesome. I would love to try this, like, as a psychic medium myself, because if Anthony's not psychic and he's getting that kind of thing, if I'm totally relaxed and I'm, honed into the other side, what would it be like if I'm hooked up to something like that, and what kind of information comes out?
Yeah. Well, Scotty, didn't he try it?
Scotty, yes.
And he got a message.
Yeah.
For something that was happening the following day with him. Right?
Yes.
Oh,
He was.
wow.
He has one that he borrowed from us, and he got information, and he's like, I got this information. Does that mean anything to you? And we were like, no, it doesn't mean anything to me. But he had an investigation, a private investigation the next night. He calls us up. He goes, Steve, I had to call you up. He's like, all the information I gave you last night was not for you. I even got names and everything, and that's who was at this place that I'm at tonight.
Gosh,
So that was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I
that
when
is
stuff
really
like that happens.
crazy.
Yeah, Scotty the medium, he's really good. Yeah, we had him on the show also. Yeah,
He has such good energy too.
Yeah.
He does.
it's always positive energy. Yes.
Ron wants to know if we can request a custom box.
Sure.
What kind of custom box?
Tupperware?
Something from out of the
Tupperware, I'm
garage.
your guy.
Just toss it all together from the junk drawer.
Yeah, whatever you got left over, put it in one box and see what happens.
Well, she just recently tried doing that Phoenix that we just played for you, and added radio sweep as well, but it was just too much. It overloaded the system.
There was like this thud, 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 and I was just like, I can't handle that.
But you never know till you
I'm
try.
taking it off.
Ron said we will have to talk about it. LOL. I think your stuff is amazing. Like, all these things are, and where do you come up with these ideas? Like, they just come to you one day and you're on it?
I used to, like, years ago, I used to just wake up and go right to the bed. I wake up and I go, ooh, that's a good idea. And I'd run right to the bench and start working on something. They would come to me while I was sleeping. It was like in a dream, but nowadays I have, when I do think of stuff throughout the day, I put it in my phone in my notes. So we have a bunch of projects. I mean, we're not the fastest workers, but I have a bunch of projects that we haven't even touched yet. So that they're coming. it's just going to take us a little while to get them going.
We're never bored.
Katie, how did you do this? So, like, did you guys meet and then that's when it started, or were you separately doing this?
No, I wasn't doing this before I met Steve. But basically what happened was while he was at work, I'd snoop through all of his electronic stuff. So I just kind of taught myself based on, but he also helped me out a lot too. I mean, so
Yeah, I had,
that
I had a
basically
lot
how
of
it went down.
I had a lot of help along the way as well.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of people that guided me into how stuff works. You know, electronics wise, I still don't know a lot about electronics. Anthony does.
No, electronics, I don't know.
Nothing. He knows nothing about him.
Electrical.
I know how to bring power into your building, and then all the other stuff.
Can you lower my bill?
Nope.
Yeah, we'll just unplug everything. We'll just cut you off from the grid, and you don't have to pay a bill no more.
But you won't have electricity either.
No,
I got a generator.
yeah, generator. That's it. Yeah. Well, gas is getting up there too, so you got to
Right.
put down your
Yeah,
generator.
there's no
So
savings
that-
there.
There's no savings at all. I mean, yeah.
Or no
Get
givings.
solar. Look at solar. I mean, I hear so much good stuff about solar panels and stuff. It's a little expensive, but now the government's actually giving people breaks if they go on the solar grid. So let me check that out.
Yeah.
You know, I live in a complex. I live in a cooperative, so I don't have to worry about this.
That's good. That's good.
You know, the power grids and stuff. But you know, you guys. I mean, when I first met, I mean, Steve and we met at this. It was an investigation at Chrysler Mansion like 10 years ago or so.
Yeah, and I didn't even know it because I
Yeah.
met Ron, and Ron wanted to meet up in Keyport and have dinner, and he brought Anthony, introduced me to him, and he's like, I think I know you. And he showed me a picture from like 10 years ago at the time, and I go, yep, we're both in the picture.
Yeah.
And we never
That's
talked
true.
to each other that night.
Trippy.
Yeah. That
That's
was
where everything went
interesting.
sideways.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They got to know me. You know.
See, that's what you do, Anthony. You take these pictures and you hold these people hostage. There's a problem with that.
I steal their souls. I take a picture and I steal their souls. Now
Yes,
they're
I
mine.
know.
You know, that stuck with me forever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm looking down. I'm just looking at some ideas.
Don't give our ideas away.
No, I'm not giving the ideas away. I
You
just
don't
want
get
to
no
see.
idea. You don't know who's
Goofy.
listening here, writing notes.
Ufi has a question. She said, Hultay devices operate on known laws of physics, ergo, the ghost realm, or a part of it. Also is subject to all or a subset of current known laws. Yes or no?
I'm gonna answer that.
I'm gonna have to get it repeated. What was?
Hultay
What's that?
devices operate on known laws of physics, ergo, the ghost realm, or a part of it. Also is subject to all or a subset of current known laws.
That's pretty deep.
Yeah.
We have very smarty pants kind of people that come into this
Well, let me
podcast.
tell you, before I started building, I bought an app. I won't say what it was. This was many, many, many years ago. Okay. So, and I ended up taking it apart because I'm just kind of that kind of person. Like, how does this thing work? You know, like I just have to take stuff apart and look at it. And so my approach to building is to make it where there's no, like, I'm not going to sneak in a bunch of paranormal related stuff in something just to make it seem paranormal. So I wanted to make it like, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen, you know, naturally or supernaturally, however you want to. But that's my approach. I know I didn't really answer the question very well.
That's
Sorry.
better than I would have done. I some of the new ideas and stuff, like she said, I don't want to like give away a lot of the ideas, but there's one that was I thought it was kind of not everybody has a big giant Tesla coil, so but I thought it would be cool because if you see the episode of Deathwalker that I'm on when he used the Tesla coil, I thought it might be cool to like set your camera to take like maybe 10 pictures at a time, like real fast or something like that, and see if anything pops up while the Tesla coil is going off. Like if you see any faces in there or anything like that, stuff like that. I mean, you could do that with people been doing it with water, like steam from water or filled with water, and you could just like mix it around, take pictures, and I mean, there's all
like
different.
scrying, basically.
Yeah, it's all different ways you could go about it. I did it with a humidifier. As soon as the smoke starts coming out, I start taking pictures, and you can see stuff. But it's pareidolia at its best.
Yeah, it could be. And I've seen people do that with smoke machines and strobe lights
or fire.
You know, fire is a form of white noise anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like crippling is a kind of form of a white noise. So,
So is it operating on laws of physics? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it has to.
That's the goal.
Well,
we want to be accepted.
Amongst
everyone, because I mean, anybody can download a free app. I mean, they're all very similar, and when she used to dissect them, she had a program. She used to dissect them.
People didn't like me back then.
Yeah, we were not liked back then because she would take all the apps and she would
like break them apart, basically.
I would just look to see how it was made and see if is it something that I would want to use, and more times than not, I would say no, I would not want to use it.
It was pre-programmed MP3 files, so no matter how many times you listen to it, it'll never change. It'll always be the same. Because it's a pre-recorded file.
Let me ask you guys this: what are your if you have them, what are your majors in college, or what were your backgrounds?
I went to college for communications.
Okay, so this is communication.
I went to college for about a year and a half, and then I started working for a college. I worked for a community college as a web programmer back in the 90s, like before the internet was popular. And then from there I worked at the University of Iowa, and then I worked for a commercial company, and then did freelance, and then but I'm more of a self-taught.
Yeah, but you had like a basis of web programming, so you could rip apart whatever the program was. So you guys have always worked in some capacity with these types of things.
Yeah, I used to build computers in the mid-90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the mid-90s, you built computers?
From scratch, yeah. I used to just buy the parts and put it all together, throw a hard drive in there, load the software on there, and get the modems working.
I was like computers. I got my first computer in '96, so. It's like
96, yeah. I got my AOL account in '96.
Yeah. And you hear that.
And then like 4 hours later, you're on.
Unless somebody picked up the phone.
I would have CDs in the mail, like Prodigy and
the Juno,
Netscape.
So all of this was based on that.
When Facebook first came out, it was like $7.
It cost money?
Yeah.
Facebook?
I never did MySpace.
When the first, I think it came, it was like $7. You had to pay monthly. And then
all I knew about Facebook was that it was for college kids to kind of like meet each other, and it was almost like a dating kind of thing. I don't remember being paid.
And it was called the Facebook.
The Facebook. It's still called the Facebook by people who are like over 60.
Whoa! What are you talking about here?
Or the TikTok. The TikTok, the Instagram. Ufi wants to know, what was the voltage of the Tesla coil being discussed?
It's 110 volts. Was what was
Is that
coming out,
a lot?
and it truly was dangerous. Because if you watch it, I don't know if you've seen the episode. It's death. You can watch it. It's on Filmrise. You can just download the app on
Yeah.
your if you have a smart TV or your phone or whatever. And it's season 3. It's the last episode, and we put Nick in a metal, like he almost looked like a medieval guy. You know, it was like a chain.
The
You
chain
know,
link,
and what it did was, and he stood on a grounding mat, so he was able to touch it and move the lightning rods around. He was able to move them around, you know, and you can see. I have pictures. They didn't show it on the TV show, but I have pictures of it. You can see his feet were like flashing, like he had like fire coming out of his feet. You know, it was really, really cool.
It was really cool. The look on your face was priceless, by the way.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. It's the thing is, every time I go do an episode with him, it's always like in the middle of winter or something. So
yeah,
it's always like 0 or 10, you know, because the places we're in never have heat.
Yeah.
So,
well, next time you want to either have it be in like July,
yes,
or you want to go to Bermuda.
Bermuda, I'll do that.
Okay, there you go.
So Ufi's like super into this. She said paranormal entities like ghosts or etc. must modulate Hultay devices using existing laws of physics. Yes or no?
I don't really know how they use it, to be honest.
I don't think anybody does.
I think I find myself I come from a skeptical standpoint, and I didn't grow up religious at all. It doesn't mean that I don't believe in anything. It just means like I'm actually terrified of dying, to be honest. Like
you are?
Like, I am.
You did say that once before. That's right.
Yeah. So I have to be continually proven by the devices that we make.
Do you think that because you're terrified of dying, you're working really hard with this so that there is a way to communicate after?
Maybe. I mean, before I met Steve, I was pretty sick. I used to text him. I had to go to infusion center every single day, and you know, had pretty major surgery and stuff like that. So, you know, there's a bit of time where I was like, you know, but
it's weird because I picked that up about you, but I don't like to read people, and I don't.
Well, that's the reason why I contacted Steve, because I think my first post in his group was, okay, I'm going to have surgery. Do you think that if I'm under anesthesia that I could come through on a ghost box? Does somebody want to try that experiment?
And there has been occasion where people were in comas and came through on the ghost box.
Wow.
So
that's basically what got me interested.
I flatlined during anesthesia, and I remember all of it.
Oh my God. I woke up during anesthesia once.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm sure I have too.
Scary.
I remember I used to talk to Bill Chappell all the time from he used to build the equipment for Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures. And back in like 2007, 2008, he used to send me all his prototypes. And I used to, you know, test them out. This was way before Ghost Adventures came out. And he told me one time, and I thought it was really interesting. He said, if time doesn't make a difference over there, when you turn the ghost box on next time, why don't you ask for yourself?
Oh, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that was one of those moments where I went, huh.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know what to say. You know, he's a really smart guy.
I'm going to try something like that on an investigation. I'm
yeah.
Say, am I there? Are they here? Forget about it.
Here's the thing. I wonder if it's the case where you have to have died and been brought back to be able to ask yourself, or
like
if it could
you was over there.
Like if like because I died during anesthesia and then my surgery, if because I crossed over and I know I was there on the other side, if like someone would have to do that with me instead of someone who has not died yet. You know what I mean?
So you'd be a good you have a ghost box? Turn it on tomorrow.
Oh, I don't, but
You
I'll
don't?
use-
You have to
No,
go
I
to
don't.
our
I have everything
website.
else.
Yeah, you'll have to try out our streaming.
Do
ghost
a, or
box.
do a manual tune session
Yeah. I'll
and
use
see if
which
that'll
one
work
did
for you.
you recommend though out of those two?
Which one?
Like the Ghost Box Live or the Hultay
Oh,
Paranormal?
they're both pointing to the same thing. So
Yeah, it's the same stream.
yeah.
Okay.
One's a website directly to it, and one you could get to it through our website. By
Okay.
clicking on free
I think that would be really interesting to find out. Plus, I have a mimic in my house.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty
Says your
neat.
name or sounds like you.
No, it sounds like it's my husband was sitting on the end of the couch. On the other end of the couch, his daughter was sitting there, and he looked over at her, and then he heard someone coming down the stairs. He thought it was me. When he looked over, it was her. When he looked back, she was gone.
Oh.
That's
Double gang type thing.
You think they follow you? Like you
I
go to
think
places that
everything
follow?
follows me. I mean, my house is filled with all kinds of dead people because I'm like a beacon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like no one died here. There was nothing on this land before.
Yeah, well, when you actually dabble in the paranormal, something will follow you eventually. And I have plenty of times, in the past, and even now, things come to me. Like I'll come home after an investigation, and I'll be sitting on my couch, and I'll be in the corner behind the curtain, something be peeking out at me and stuff like that. So, I mean, you do have stuff that do follow you, you know.
But
Then they-
Anthony saw, like last week before we signed off, we were still talking for a little bit, and he said that there was like black smoke here, and then he saw a head come out from here, and it was pitch black.
No, what's
Yeah.
the difference between black smoke and white smoke? One good, one bad?
I would say, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I
Why
really don't know. I mean, I guess maybe it's the way they're manifesting too. Maybe they're white smoke because it's clearer type of smoke, and then when they start to get more, as they're manifesting, maybe they turn to that black smoke as they're getting darker. As it's starting to form. So maybe that's it also. Maybe it's the white smoke and getting into the darker smoke because when you see somebody physical, you're not going to be white smoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I also seen it, and also I seen like a head out of when I was talking to her, like
It came
a
from
top of the head
this
just
way.
come in the screen like this, and come back out, and it was black. So it was weird.
Not as weird as your portal.
I love it. Oh, look, I'm totally gone.
I want to make sure everybody gets their questions answered. So the second, Goofy's saying not the original Tesla coil. She said the secondary voltage of the Tesla coil, not the primary.
Oh, I don't think you guys measured it, did you?
I didn't, and it was handmade, so.
Oh, so that makes it.
So I bought it handmade. I bought it maybe 20 years
So it wasn't
ago.
even yours.
So I don't know what the guy did. I'd have to look at it. I really honestly don't know. It is a good question though. I'll get an answer eventually.
If it has voltage on it, you have the ohms and you have all the other stuff. Too.
Yeah.
The hertz and everything else. So, I mean, it's a secondary voltage on there. I didn't even realize there was a secondary voltage on
I
it.
didn't either.
Well, it's 110. That the plug is 110, but like
what comes off of it?
Yeah, everything's 110.
Oh.
Your TV plugs into 110.
So
but your TV
the
puts up very
secondary is
minimal.
really pretty much when you're coming in to 110. Then you go to a transformer to bring up the voltage.
Yes, correct.
So
Yeah.
you guys see with the transformer on the item, it should say whatever, 110 to, 277, 280, whatever it might be,
Yeah.
But it still has to stay in a safe rate that, since Nick grabbed it, and, of course you ground yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but, you're still going to get.
I mean, it shocks you. It won't kill you because I actually, when I was setting it up, it was dark and I tripped and I accidentally
Here's
hit
where the men
button.
come in.
I actually hit the button and it got me right in the head. Like a bolt of lightning got me right in the head. I was like, oh, so yeah, you were there. Yeah, it just
brilliant.
It hurt. Believe me, it hurt. But if it was 110, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I mean, the electrician, I did get hurt. I got zapped with 280 in the ceiling. I was wiring some air conditioning units in the city, Midtown, and I was climbing up in the ceiling. So I was actually wiring a motor for the ductwork. So it's like a safety motor. So if a fire goes and the smoke comes, the motor shuts the unit, so the smoke doesn't go to, it stays in that section, doesn't go into the next section,
Right.
So I was up there. I was maybe 10, 15 feet in the air on a ladder. So I'm up there wiring it, and I went to bring myself up, and I have a sprinkler system behind me. And, I'm such a built guy, and I had to wedge myself in there. So as I was pulling up, there was wires I didn't even realize hanging from the ceiling that somebody didn't cap off correctly and touched me in my head. So my head, I went forward, and the charge came out through my nose.
Oh, wow.
Blood shot all over, and it was like a white light, and everything was crazy. And I actually got myself down the ladder, and I got myself off that. But if my nose stayed grounded, that would have fried me right then and there.
I remember, I think you told me the story. You said that's when you got your superpowers, right?
Yeah.
That's when all those.
I became superpower. Mr. Forget about it.
That's when you can make yourself disappear.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
my eating powers started up. Look at that. I lost weight. What's this? Hey. It's great. I love this.
So, Ufi wants to know, did you come through on the box during anesthesia?
I completely forgot about it. I think it was all the drugs that I was on.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I need some more.
An infinite number of realities implies an infinite number of you. Are some alive and some dead? I would think so, because once you die, you reincarnate. That's what people say. So you're not going to come back.
But do you think that there could be like concurrent, like if there's a multiverse, like
here's my
you're
theory.
also on a different dimension?
And I think everybody has a different theory. Some people believe in heaven and hell. I believe that when you die, you just hop into a different dimension. You don't go to heaven or hell, because it's easy for some of us to see people that are like full body apparitions. So who's to say you're not just going from like here to here?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then it's easier to, come back. So I think that it's just like a quick hop and a jump instead of going from like here to wherever.
There's a good book that I read years ago, George Meek, who worked on the Spiricom device. I don't know if you're familiar with the Spiricom. Spiricom 4 was the big, the popular one where
hang out with Ron Giacovetti, so I would.
Yeah.
So
Spiricom was funded by George Meek, but he also wrote books as well. And he wrote a book called After We Die, What Then? And he explains it in detail. It's almost like when you die, you like step onto an elevator, and you could either go up if you want, or you could go to another level where you come back as something else, or and start over again to try to redo it. It's like it's your choice. You're like standing at the elevator, and it's your choice what you want to do when you get there.
Like, do you want to go to homewares, or do you want to
Yeah, exactly.
women's clothing?
I want ladies' lingerie.
Yeah, spend the rest of
We're
your life.
learning too much about you today, Anthony.
Yeah. I don't go there for to try on any ladies lingerie because I don't think it fit me. I just go there for the atmosphere.
So, when you die of old age in one reality, could you be transferred to another you just being born? Yeah, I think so, because that is the concept of reincarnation.
Right, and then if you agree with what George Meek said, it's you have a choice whether you want to do it or not. It's not like you die of old age, and next thing you know, you're a housefly,
Yeah.
or maybe you are. I don't know.
Well, there's also the theory that because time is linear, you could be living 3 lives at the same time.
Ooh, interesting. I like that.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm rich in one of them.
so if you die and you're going towards the light and you're going through that tube and you get to the end of that light, are you being reborn at that time and you're coming out as a baby?
No.
Are
I
you
don't.
starting over that way? You die and you just come right back because you go towards
It's
the
like
light.
you shoot through the tunnel and you shoot back down.
No, you go through the tunnel and the woman, and you're being born. You're coming
That's
out.
that's
That's the
Mama.
tunnel.
You're coming out, mama. You know what I'm saying?
So that tunnel up is the tunnel out.
The tunnel up is like the fallopian tubes, and open up and
That's an interesting take. It's a definite.
That's a darker tunnel.
like a tunnel.
A much darker tunnel. So Goofy says usually a Tesla coil secondary is 50,000 to 250,000 volts, but very low amperage.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Mhm.
That's got me like, now I'm going to be researching. And she says, yes, Maureen, when you dream, you communicate with multiple yous in those other places and dimensions. That's a question. Also with others, not you. I got to reread that. When you dream, you communicate with multiple you in those other places and dimensions, also with others who are not you.
So it's basically just a dream state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can go anywhere. I don't know.
Well, I find that to be astral projection.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say that.
Mm-hmm.
I've even caught myself doing that. I've been like hanging over myself and scared the crap out of myself, and all of a sudden I felt that like, ooh, that.
Oh, yeah.
I've done that. It's actually not that hard to do.
It's not.
You basically, what I did, I just laid in bed and I just closed my eyes and I pictured myself looking at myself laying in bed.
Yes.
And then once I saw myself, I said, I'm out. I can go anywhere I want, and you can.
Right.
But they talk about the cord.
If you don't expect that and you're hovering over yourself looking down, it's really freaky. And that's when you do the, ugh.
The only thing that bothers me about that is they talk about like a cord that could break, like you could.
There's one from your head to the heavens and your feet to the earth.
Yes.
And it snips.
Yes.
When you're doing like anesthesia, it's a near-death experience or a death experience, or you're floating out there astral projecting. So you have to be very careful.
It's fun though.
It is fun.
You're hanging there.
Actually went to I got out and I went to my friend's house, and I actually when I talked to him later on that day, I said, I was at your house this morning. I saw you reading the newspaper. Your wife was at the table. I described the whole entire scene. He said, that's exactly what happened. And I only did it the one time. And
I did that with Ron. He asked me what his house looked like, and I closed my eyes and I explained I said, you have a green carpet, you have, white, like an off-white curtain with like a scalloped edge, and your house outside is brick and it looks like that. And he was like, how the hell do you know that? And I said, because you asked me what your house looked like. So I explained. Don't ask if you don't want to know.
That's pretty good.
It was crazy. So that's like remote viewing too, I guess. You kind of
Maureen,
like.
have you always had these abilities since you were a kid, or did this happen after after
No, I've
flatlining?
always had ability since I was really little. And the weird part is every time a psychic medium tells a story about like when they knew, they're around 3 or 4 years old,
Okay.
which blows my mind. But I've always had these abilities since I was really little. They just amped up when I got sick around 2016.
Okay.
And then they like went for, they kind of exploded when I had the, I mean, I've had a couple of near death experiences, but I had the death experience when I died during my anesthesia.
Okay. Okay.
But they went crazy, crazy.
Mm-hmm. Now, did it make you feel uncomfortable, or I mean, how did you handle it?
No, I was like, I really wanted this nap. Like, why did you wake me up? It was so comforting. And the lady was like slapping my hand, trying to wake me back up. And I was just like, you're so loud. Your voice is so irritating. Leave me the hell alone. I just want to like sleep here. And I had already warned them in advance that I had, you know, a fight or flight response disorder. So it's a dysautonomia thing. And they were like, a what? I knew immediately that there was going to be a big problem.
Okay.
And they had no clue.
Wow.
It was crazy.
So many different avenues to travel down this. It's not just, one thing. I mean, there's so many different ways you could go about it. Like Ghost Hunters, his daughter Satori.
Yeah.
I loved when they get together and they go through the alphabet and they hear the knocks. I love that. Like, what's your name? A, B, C.
I do that with dowsing rods.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had when I started the dowsing rods, I got a video from Patty Starr, and she was really big. She's from Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
And that's the first I ever heard of dowsing rods. And she had a video and showed you how to use it. It'll point to stuff. You can use one. It'll bounce up and down, and you could do yes or no. I mean, I learned so much. I still have it. The video. It's very interesting.
It really is hot.
They get
That
hot
thing with
too.
the alphabet that they do. You know who started that?
No.
The Fox sisters.
Oh my God, we're going way back.
They're the ones
Did they
who
really
really
do that?
started it.
Yeah.
And that's how they communicated. They came up with that, how to communicate with spirits. That's how they got the name of the spirit that's with them. It's Splitfoot. Mrs. Splitfoot.
That's how I met Mr. Simonelli.
Oh yeah, well, with the Fox sister type of thing at Gettysburg last year.
I thought maybe the Fox sisters introduced you to them or something.
They kind of
did.
did.
They came out and they said, "Hey, this is Anthony. Hey, this is Maureen. Hey."
I kept hearing the name Maggie, and it got louder and louder and louder and louder because I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it. But I had just gone to listen to Ron Iacovetti and Chris DeCesare, and then the next day I kept hearing it and it kept getting louder and louder. And I went over to Ron and I said, I just wanted to let you know that your speaking engagement was fantastic. Everything I heard was so sincere and you're amazing. Someday, this might be the payphone to whatever dimension our loved ones are at. And my mom passed away and I wish I could, speak to her again because she doesn't really come to me. And I thought it was that they were like, she's just too close to me and I can't talk to her. But it's just that she thinks that I'm good and I don't need her help because she always said, you're the strong one. You don't need me. So he was really touched by that. And he said, thank you so much. And I said, I keep hearing this voice and I really think it's for you. Do you know what Maggie means? And his mouth dropped and he turned to him and he goes, you're not going to believe this. She just said Maggie. And the two of them are just standing there and they're like, what the hell? And I'm like, does that mean something? Like, did I offend you? And then Anthony said, you're not going to believe this. So that was meant to get me to Ron so he could talk to him and then he could introduce, like, it was just the craziest thing.
And the
So
funny
that's how
part
we met.
about it, Ron was bringing up something about the Fox sisters. at that moment, and she got the name Maggie right before that. And then he brought the Fox sisters. So when he said Maggie, one of Fox sisters, because we tried to do a documentary way back, and things didn't work out the way they were. So I did a lot of research on the Fox sisters, and one sister was Maggie. That was Fox sister.
And I did a bunch of research, and he said, "Do you know who the Fox sisters are?" And I literally screamed in the middle of the ballroom at Gettysburg, "Do I know who the Fox sisters are? Of course I do. We wouldn't be here without the Fox sisters." And he was like,
that was interesting.
"Everybody knows." So that was a really cool moment. And then here we are. The rest is history.
Rest is history.
And now we got you on the show, part of the history.
Yeah, so I wouldn't know you guys without him.
That's it.
Exactly.
One thing leads to another.
So
where's Kevin Bacon in all this?
Yeah,
we're there.
Kevin Bacon.
Oh yeah, Kevin Bacon with that movie he did with White Noise.
Oh, did you ever see Stir of Echoes?
Yes.
Oh, what a great movie!
It really is.
There
was a second one. It wasn't as good.
No, I didn't even know there was a second one. Was he in it?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I don't remember, but it wasn't as good as the first one. The first one literally had me like this.
Yeah, me too. Very
like
good.
You can't watch a movie with me because I'll tell you everything that's going to happen.
He's going to open the fridge, and when he closes the fridge, there's going to be someone standing there.
Yeah, I do that, and
What
I
up?
hate it. Everything.
I'm going to go watch the rest of the Yankee game, guys.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure
And
having you guys.
I think you're what, I think your show's over anyway. I don't know if anybody else comes on after you.
Nope.
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
Well, Bobby, I think, comes on at 10 with music, so we have to let them know that.
Yeah. So
yeah,
you guys got anything? Yeah, you guys got anything coming up or anything you want to announce? You want to advertise anything? I want just tell us and she'll put it up there. And
no, there's a private investigation this weekend that I may or may not go to, and I was going to go to Germany. The VTF, which is a big ITC community in Germany, invited me out there. If I had a way to get out there, I'd go. But I tried to get them to pay for me to go. And
just
like,
astral project, buddy.
yeah, I'll just do that. They're going to set something up. They said we'll do like a video conference or something like that, a Zoom.
That's cool.
So, because they use our live ghost box stream a lot. So, he just, wants me on there, and I've been doing this for a long time.
They should accommodate you then if that's the case.
Yeah, it's been almost 20 years. I don't have the time in that Anthony has, but
Hey.
But I try to be productive. We try to come up with new ideas and take it day by day and see what happens. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
So,
no Paracons, no.
No, we've done a couple Paracons.
Do you have any coming up?
No. Actually, I wanted to do the Jersey one. And just get a table and stuff. I got to talk to John Ruggiero on that one to see if we could still get in on that, because there's a lot of good people that show up for that as well, and that's good. We call it networking,
Yeah, that's what it is.
We just go places just to meet people.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
That's true.
Yeah, it's fun. That one is pretty good because
I've been there twice.
I've never been there.
Yeah. Well, Ron, I mean, you don't have to be there. Ron has a whole table in the back.
Yeah. That's true.
All you can do is get a cut out of you and put you in the back there. And one thing about that place, when we had the table back there with Ron, there was I had the box out there, and I had my Orion 20 out there, and two little girls came over, and they go, "Oh, what's that?" So I start playing it, and I said, "Do you know a woman made this?" And they're like, "A woman made that?" And they were so intrigued that it was a woman. I said, "Yeah, she's not too many in that make these boxes." And I said, Katie Hultay, and they were intrigued. These two young girls, they must have been about 10, 11 years old, that a woman actually designed one of these boxes, and I told them that, and they were like, wow, wow. I think I text you right after that to let you know
Yeah,
that
she's always saying she doesn't get the respect that she deserves because she's a woman in the field.
I'm like,
You're
oh, it's
very
a boys'
respected,
club.
yeah, and they were so excited that a woman actually made that, and so that was interesting. That's nice that they
Yeah.
knew a woman made that. So maybe you never know. Maybe they're a future builder, or
Exactly. Yeah.
something like that, or give them just an idea. Like I could do something like that.
Yeah. I think the next generations, there's going to be a lot of female builders.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just everywhere now. So that's good.
Katie, hands up, props to you, girl.
Thank you.
I don't know how you do it because I can't take stuff apart and put it back together at
Oh,
all.
it's fun.
I could definitely take stuff apart.
Well, yeah, you're a man.
Yeah.
I'm the every other nut and bolt guy.
But
Put it back together. You have an extra bolt or two. We're like, where's this belong? We don't need it. The hell with it.
Yeah, it's working.
It works. So
no, you guys are amazing. Like all of you guys and Ron and Lourdes, and I think this is fascinating stuff. And every time I get to talk to you all or see you in action, it's mind blowing. The things that you're able to do, especially like when you lose someone so traumatically and they're so close to you, and you give us the opportunity to speak to them. I'm so grateful for what you're doing. It's thank you so much for that. I mean, we all have our own gifts, but this is something truly special.
Thank you.
just get like if anybody wants to buy the boxes, just give it one last shout out where they could buy any of the stuff that they seen tonight, or just again anywhere. I know it's Hultay Paranormal, so if you want to,
And it's stuff that we have on our website. We don't know how to price stuff because we're not business people really. So we just take into consideration the labor and the parts and take it from there. So if anybody sees anything that they like on there, send us a message, say, I can't afford that, but I can afford this. If it's something close or similar, something like that, we'll work with you on the price.
I would love one.
Okay. We could definitely do something like that.
A Polly Pocket one. They're cute. And you can make it out of Tupperware and bolts and like Frankenstein's head. Whatever you want to do. I'll leave it up to you guys.
Anthony, you saw the one I made. I made my own REM pod and I put it in a piece of Tupperware I call the white trash REM pod.
Yeah.
It works. It works.
Hey, as long as it works, that's all that matters.
Yeah. At least there's a cover around it. You might get some wires next time.
I can put it in the fridge.
Yeah. Be fresh all the time.
Well, we don't want to keep you from watching your game.
Okay.
Hopefully you're winning. So thank you guys so much for coming to spend your time with us. We appreciate it so much. We love you guys. And hopefully we get to see you soon.
Okay.
All right,
Good night,
thanks.
everybody.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
guys. Thank you.
you for
I'll see
coming.
you in the next one. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Okay.
That was awesome.
We love them. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We do still have some questions to answer before we go. So Ufi says the human mind in the dream state is trans reality, trans you, trans being, communication. Yes. The next one is this perhaps why many ET abductions communication occurs during sleep. It's not just during sleep. Mine happened during meditation. So it's kind of like you're in an altered state. And I think that they do that because they don't want to be seen. They don't want to be known about. They kind of like want to have you question, don't you think?
I mean, it's just like spirits too. Spirits come to you in your dreams, so you don't get panicky.
It's also because it's easier.
You accept things more when you're sleeping, because it's a dream. You feel it's a dream, and you'll accept it. So maybe that's why they come to you, so you'll accept them more at that way instead of freaking up and running away or trying to tackle them. With that. So.
But it's easier to connect when you're in an altered state, I think, as well. So they say that, if you meet up with a family member or a loved one or, whomever that passed away, it's easier to it's easier to talk to them and see them and whatever in that state than having them in front of you. Just like with angels. Angels, you know, based on what the Bible says, they're a bunch of eyes on wheels. Like if you saw that, you'd probably shit your pants, right?
Yeah,
But-
you don't want to.
So they come like they explain them, you know, it's like Archangel Michael, he has the flowing blonde hair with the shields and whatever, and he looks like Magic Mike. Who wouldn't want to see that guy? But
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, the Archangel. He works out a lot, so he has that buff body, and you know.
with the pecs going and
Yeah, the pecs and all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Calm down. It's an option.
I won't like it.
It's not just. It's not Magic Mike. It's Saint Michael.
Yeah. So this was a really good show. I mean, like lots of great questions. Some of them are even over my head sometimes, which that's not abnormal.
Well, I mean, a lot of this stuff. When it comes to the paranormal, I didn't study when I learned everything as I went along. You know, so I learned a lot. And when I was coming up doing this, I had nobody to refer to talk to. I didn't even know who the Warrens were until they started the movies.
Really?
I didn't know the Warrens. I didn't find out about that.
They were as a kid.
I knew what I wanted to look at, and that was it. That's the way I learned. I didn't have any influences or anything. I just, since I was a kid, it's just been happening to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I started wanting to find out about them more.
But the reason why this might be why I knew who they were, because we had a home that was directly over the river, and it was literally like maybe a 4-minute drive from me. And this was it was on national news. The Smurl House. Do you remember that?
The what house?
The Smurl House. Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
It was on national news. It was a family there was even a movie and a book about it.
Is that what the girl they tortured?
It was about, I think there were 2 to 3 kids, a mother and a father, and the father was he had the kids were thrown down the stairs. There was bleeding on the walls. Mm-hmm. They had to call the Diocese of Scranton. They had, I think the mother was tortured, if I remember correctly. There was a succubus that the father was raped by. All kinds of things. They fled their home. They went camping. It showed up there. I mean, no matter where they went, it still followed them. So Ed and Lorraine. What's that?
It was a bad attachment.
Yeah. So Ed and Lorraine showed up, and the national news showed up at their house and whatever. They went and they moved someplace else, and they said that it followed them there. The house is still there. And ironically, I worked with 2 of the girls in 2 different locations, and perfectly normal, nice girls. You would never have known that anything happened to them. I don't know where they are right. Well, one of them actually has a paranormal show, I think. She has and she actually had done a show with, the woman that owned she lived at the Conjuring house. Andrea Perrin.
Andrea, yes. Andrea Perrin.
She did a show with her. I think she might have just been like guest hosting with her. But now she has her own show. Thank you, Ron. Andrea. Sorry. I've been under the weather a little bit. But the other one doesn't mention anything about her issues that I know of.
Mhm.
So there was a movie about it, and there was a book about it.
Okay. I've probably seen the movie, not
You may
knowing
have.
what it's about. I might have.
It was in the early '80s, I believe. But that's how I remember knowing about the Warrens. So I knew about them as a kid, but like everything I did as a kid, I remember, truly believing I was a witch, which I am. But I remember reading like one book a night that was based, Stephen King books. I watched
Mhm.
scary movies. I was into haunted houses. Like I was always about this stuff. It was just in my blood.
Mhm. I was just since I was a kid, I had always experienced and went through the years, and I always drawn to more of the
Same.
paranormal and horror and stuff like that. And when I was a kid, Ron knows this one. Back in the '60s, they had a show, Dark Shadows,
Yes, I remember watching that as a kid too.
and I remember we used to run home from school to watch that. It was like four. It was like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, something like that, after school, and all the kids on my block would go running home, and I was I was young,
Mhm.
and I think it was from like in '65. That's when it started. I think '65, and so it was something. It was I always was intrigued with those old mansions and spirits in the mansion and stuff. And now I'm actually going to them, so I'm so happy about getting to see some of these old mansions. But it was vampires and ghosts and stuff like that. But the ghosts more intrigued me than the vampires and the other stuff. You know,
All
I
of that.
always liked werewolves. I was always into werewolves back then. But the movie, Audrey,
It was called the Nightmare on Chase Street, the Smurl family haunting.
I,
It went on for 13 years.
wow.
Yeah. So
The,
yeah, it was. You'll have to.
I just want. Can I answer two questions? Oh, Ron, Ron, I know you like rechargeable batteries, but when you're on investigations, I like rechargeables. I know people use them, but I find that when I'm on investigations, when you're in an area and you have equipment that's chargeable like that, and your batteries are drained, they're gone. So
Yeah.
I always carry. I would rather have a regular batteries because I carry extra batteries in my pockets. I could pop those out and put new ones in. Because a lot of times when the investigations, your batteries get charged or get drained, and you have chargeable batteries, rechargeable batteries. If you don't have something to charge or whatever, charge your whatever you're using with the rechargeable batteries. A lot of locations don't have electricity,
Electricity. Yeah.
so it's better to carry regular batteries in your pocket with that. You know,
Right.
you
And
know.
you could get them at the dollar store. They're cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Goofy says, ever heard of someone being like an angel taxi driver taking souls from the Bardo to the next gate? I've heard of that. That's like, I
I
think
heard
that's
of
an
that.
old Southern thing, isn't it?
I mean, I heard about the ones with where they put the pennies on people's eyes
Yes.
to pay the as I used to say, get onto this boat and then you have to pay your way onto the boat to get over to the other side. So yeah, um, and I feel that when you pass, um, I feel that it may be there's a family member waiting for you to lead you on. So I mean, it wouldn't be a taxi no more; it'd be an Uber driver. But
Got to pay for it with those pennies on your eyes.
yeah, but that's why they used to put pennies on the eyes. You could pay the there's a name for it, but just to pay, I guess, debt to bring you over and on the boat. You know,
That's believable.
the movie
Totally.
is about Andrea House's. Yeah,
The
matter of
Conjuring.
fact, Ron, we're going to the Conjuring House at the end of this month. I'm going there. I'll be there with Ron Lourdes and a bunch of other people.
Surprise!
So we're gonna go.
It was always in my blood. More truth than fiction there. It was in my blood. My blood was not being drained. How many generations back does it go? For me personally, it wasn't talked about. I know my father and my aunt did see things on his side, and I know that my great aunt on my mom's side, she saw things, and so did my great grandmother.
Mhm.
So I know that it went back on both sides. It's strong. And I
Yeah.
know my son is way more powerful than I am, and it's in his son too.
But with me, um, we didn't talk about it much until I started. My mom started seeing when I got older. She started telling me when I started, because I was seeing things as a kid, and I experienced and everything. Um, and she experienced. My mom did too, but they didn't talk too much about it. But it goes back to my great grandmother that was in Sicily, and they had experience there that she actually was thrown out a window by spirits.
Wow.
Yeah, and when my great grandfather came home, found her out in the yard, unconscious. It was just tossed her right out the window. She was cleaning in the kitchen or whatever she was doing, and she's next thing she knows, she just was like actually tossed back and forth and then right out the window. So I mean, it goes back. I don't know how far back, but yeah. Um, so more on my mother's side. My father's side, I don't know too much about when it comes to any of that. But my mother's side has abilities, and it's mostly the women. And my mom's told me I was always the more powerful one, like you said about your son. I was more powerful one than any of them because I got to see, hear, and all this other stuff with it. So yeah, it's like I said, my father's side. I know the men in my family had it also, but none of them really would admit it. None of them, the old Italians, they were all, thick-headed. You
Yeah.
know, they didn't want to listen or they didn't want to admit. I think they felt that if they admitted that they had these abilities, it make them a sign of weakness or something like that. You
I think
know.
so too. That was a big thing with my father's side of the family.
You, so yeah, I also prefer the chemistry. She has some good questions tonight.
She does.
Wolfie, you're too smart for me.
She's
You're
very
way too
intelligent.
smart for me. Do girls prefer the chemistry of one type of battery? Um, you know something? Tell you the truth, I never noticed that. I don't really. The batteries. I know my cameras they go quick, and I always have a bunch of because those are chargeable batteries, of course. My video cameras. I always carry like a bunch of batteries with me because they drain them quick. But I mean, they drain batteries the same, And if they get your batteries, they start draining you of your energy to manifest or to do whatever they have to do. So I mean, I don't know if with the batteries, I haven't seen that, but I always notice that the batteries go around the same time. Okay. Um, yeah, Uber. She laughed at the Uber thing. Um,
Yeah, and it is both on both sides for both of us.
yeah. Well, I don't know about my father's side. I know my mother's side was, and my grandfather's side had some abilities too. On my mother's side of the family, my grandmother, my mother's mother, and my mother's father, the women on there, they all had some experience on both that. On my father's side, I'm not sure. You know, they were very thick-headed and they never talked about anything. And I didn't even know them until I started doing my genealogy. So is energy draining from any sources? Electrical? Yes.
It drains every kind of energy.
Yeah. It drains anything that has some sort of energy with it. Um, like if you're in a house and you say you're your panel in your basement or wherever your panel might be, and it's not properly grounded, it's throwing off EMFs off that panel. They will use that to manifest the panel, and you'll see a lot of houses like the old houses that they didn't use grounds. They used a neutral as a ground on their panels, and with those high EMFs, sometimes you get in locations in certain houses, or you know, old houses that have more activity near the panel or within that area of the panel. So yeah, they do. They use any kind of energy they could get. You know.
Even like people's energy
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
Well,
So we're built with all electric charges. With how, everything in our body is done with electric charges and stuff like that. So let's
yeah,
drain your energy.
if your water and salt levels are off, you can create serious like electrical charges.
Hmm.
It's called the molality of your body.
Well, salt water actually is a better conductor than fresh water. It conducts electricity a lot better than fresh water. It was, I guess, maybe because of the salt, whatever it would be, becomes a conductor.
Yeah. Well,
Mm,
we have 4 minutes left.
do you
Don't
have,
forget, for those that are watching or watch later, we have the Penhurst Paracon this weekend, Friday through Sunday. Um, what are you doing this weekend?
I'm gonna be in the Poconos.
Okay.
I got I got myself a power wash. I'm gonna be doing my deck, washing my deck off. Yeah, that's this weekend.
That's the
I
fun
don't
stuff.
know. I might end up going down there. I mean, it's a
I think
2 hour.
I'm going to go Saturday.
Yeah. Well,
So
I
if
mean,
you're there, say hi.
we'll see how fast I get stuff done. You know, that's why I'm going out there this weekend to get a lot of things done.
This is going to be a good one. I wanted to say Craig Ansel. He gave us a heads up or what's up. So I wanted to give him the same in return. Um, and next week we have, oh, next
Yep.
week I am not going to be here because I will be at my daughter's honor society induction. So we are going to have a recorded show. Sorry.
Recorded show. Yes.
Yes, it's going to be a really interesting one though. And then the following week, we will have a very interesting show. It's going to be with Melinda Williams. She is a great psychic medium, and she does help out with the police departments for missing people, and she also does a lot of work with people's health. So that'll be a very interesting show. Also, she's a great person and she's a good friend.
You want to tell them who's next week?
Who's next week?
Next week.
Oh, with the tape show. The tape show is
Yeah.
with the people that we talk the most about: Ron Lourdes, Tony Rathman, Cherie Rathman. Am I missing anyone?
No, that's the only one's going to be there. It's their Staticom.
That's it.
The Staticom that with Ron Jacobetti, Lourdes Gonzalez, and Tony and Sherry Rathman. That's
Yes.
what they've been working on, and we're going to do a pre-recorded for next week because we're not going to be here, and so
No, sad.
we're going to have a pre-recorded show next week. But it's going to be a good show. So if you guys want to watch,
And if you have questions, like leave us some questions and we will answer them afterwards. So just let us know what you're interested in knowing about. They're going to use the Staticom and they're going to do an investigation. So that should be really fun. And we'll be talking to them as they're doing it. So that should be really interesting.
yes.
But in the meantime, it's a minute away from bye-bye. So
Oh.
This was Dimensions of the Supernatural. I'm Maureen Grudzinski.
And I'm Anthony Simonelli. Yeah, forget about it. Stay safe.
Thank you for visiting with us again tonight. We love you guys, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share. What else?
Like, share, and investigate.
Yeah, that's a good one. Don't forget to comment and bring your friends next time. Thanks for being with us.
You're going to disappear
It's been a
now.
pleasure.